Hi. Today I will narrate a story about my transfer as assistant geologist from the Kozhikode regional office to the Trivandrum or Trivandrum headquarters of the Directorate of Geology. Well, when the month of April 67 started, we were actually kind of free from any kind of professional work because we have finished all our financial obligations, etc., and we're waiting for the allocation for the financial year 67-68 to plan for that year's work. Well, in those days, like in April, early days, my brother, a teacher turned RSP politician, started some moves to manage a transfer for me from Kozhikode to Trivandrum. Those days, there was a city deputy mayor in Trivandrum, Mr. K.C. Vamadevan, who is a good friend of my brother, because my brother was also a RSP functionary in the local. So, right from the early days, politicians always wielded some kind of a sway over the various government agencies. And whenever the politician makes a demand or a suggestion or a proposal of any sort, most of the government officials will not reject it, because the government officials do know well that when these guys, these groups or these parties come into power, naturally they will have to be at the direction of these people. So, no government official will try to, strain the relations with a politician, that for sure. So Mr. Vamadevan just made a brief visit to director's office in the public office buildings and made a suggestion that the director may consider a transfer to Thrivikramji, assistant geologist, or to Trivandrum office because of one of our grounds, because he wants to be with his elderly parents, things of that sort. And the director very politely told Mr. Ramadevan that he would consider. What happened was the whole thing snowballed into a transfer. By the end of, I would say, March, an order issued originating from the director's office, came to our Kozhikode office, and without a copy to me those days, only to the geologist in charge. And geologist called me up to his chamber and told me that, "Yeah, man, how did you manage this transfer?" I said, "I'm not sure how it was managed, but I will not be able to tell you how it happened until I go to Trivandrum. Maybe my brother had done something about it." But anyway, the order said that this is a request transfer and there is no joining time. In other words, whoever the government official is on a request transfer will have to join or report for duty to the new location without taking what is called a joining time allowed for government servants on transfer. So all that I can take is only the time that is essential for the travel. So, I told my friends also, this is what is happening. I declared it in the Valayadi estate early evening crowd, and they were also happy to receive this news, and equally, they said, okay, we feel sorry that you're going so quickly back home. Anyway, good luck to you, etc. And I was relieved from the office. I made a request to the geologist Gopalakrishnan Nair sir, that sir, I may be allowed to go start off from Kozhikode one day earlier than the official relief date. He nodded yes, and then told me, be very cautious, don't jump in front of the Mr. C.V. Paulus or his, what is called, his friends. I mean, his subordinates and loyal staff. So if that happens, Gopalakrishnan Nair could be in trouble. So I just decided to leave on the same evening and took a bus. I planned to take the Kannur Deluxe Express to Trivandrum, leaving Kozhikode around 6 o'clock. When I went to the station, bus station at Kozhikode, one of my friends in the KSRTC asked me, are you planning to go by Deluxe Express? I said yes. But then he said it will be very difficult today. There is no vacant seat. What you do is catch this bus. There is a fast passenger bound to Ernakulam waiting to start off. And then in Ernakulam you can catch the what is called a Deluxe Express. Then that's exactly what I did. And when my bus reached Ernakulam bus station, it was something like 10:30 or so. And on inquiry, I was told that the deluxe is expected at 11 o'clock at night. So I just waited there, had a cup of tea, and then, obviously when the bus came in, a lot of people got off the bus, and finally I inquired the conductor whether I can travel by the Kannur Deluxe to Trivandrum. And I said, oh, of course, definitely, there is plenty of vacant seats. So I got into the bus and sat in the seat number 13 for some reason. And then after 5 minutes or so, the bus restarted, and I relaxed in the seat. It was a pushback seat or whatever you call. And I sat there in the aisle seat, which is 13. And I removed, obviously, my shoes from my feet, and then bag I kept in my lap only, and then I started dozing off. Before the bus left Kochi or Ernakulam, I fell asleep. And I recall having, woke up at Cherthala. And Cherthala, the bus was, going out of Cherthala bus station, the jerk because of the first gear ride. Then I opened up my eyes and looked around, and everything was shut down. Only street lights were on. And again continued my sleep. I did not know when or how the bus crossed, what time around the bus crossed other places. But to my surprise, I just heard after an hour or, I don't know how many hours, but I heard a huge thud in the bus. And at the moment I heard it, it was a capsize of the bus, and the bus plunged into, at a place called Karuvata, over to a pond on the west side of the road, actually. So bus, probably the driver dozed off, something like that happened. Anyway, so I was on my feet. I was actually, when I looked down, I was standing on the ceiling of the bus. In other words, all the 4 wheels were up, and part of the bus, the front end was flooded with water. And I was lucky, or I was happy that I am alert. I am on my feet. I was still holding my bag. Then the conductor started, crying about, or asking, where is my bag? Where is my bag? Where is my money? Etc. etc. Then another elderly woman was crying and calling, Cheta, Cheta, where are you? Asking for her husband, and there was no reply. And we were only 13 passengers outside of the crew. And by that, within a couple of minutes or 5 minutes, a crowd of 10 to 15 people were around the bus. The rear end of the bus was sitting in the embankment, and the front end was in the water. And then I saw the driver wading through chest height of water, out of the water, and then walking toward the embankment. Then I was trying to, when I looked again, I saw the Kannur Express, Deluxe Express sign sitting on the floor because the bus is upside down. And the people outside were shouting at me and asking me to come out of the bus. But I was kind of uncertain about the safety of going out because, I might be keeping the equilibrium of the bus. Suppose I went out and the bus might turn on over me and kill me. That was the thought that went through my mind. Anyway, these guys opened the door, and the buses, those days there were only two doors. One for the passenger side on the left and toward the rear end of the bus. And the second the door is for a smaller door for the driver to get in and get out. There is no emergency escape of anything of that sort. Those days, because buses will not go beyond 30 miles per hour. Anyway, so I jumped out of the bus, and then all of a sudden, my thought was, I should be catching the next bus and escape from the scene so that my name will not be in the list of passengers in the bus when the accident is reported by a newspaper. If my name is there, naturally, I will be caught red-handed by the director's office and the Gopalakrishnan Nair, the geologist in charge in Kozhikode, could be in deep trouble. So I just crossed over the road, then waited for a bus heading towards south to Trivandrum. Within 5 or 10 minutes, a fast passenger came and halted there because, a fellow passenger bus or a deluxe express is in trouble. All of a sudden, all those people, including the crew, came out, looked, just had a survey around, and then, the conductor of the fast passenger announced, let us go, we have to hurry, we have to report it to Haripada bus station. So I also got into the bus and told the conductor that I am a passenger in that bus, can I travel by this? He said, of course. And when I asked for the ticket, he said, no, don't worry, you have, let me see your ticket. So I showed the ticket and he gave me a seat. And then once we reached Haripada, the conductor and driver went out and reported to the station master, whoever in charge there in the station, about the accident, and which was in turn conveyed to the police, etc., etc. Anyway, the bus came to Trivandrum, Palayam by about 7:30 in the morning. And I did not have any shoes which I didn't care much about. But then I took a bus from there, city bus, to Ambalamukku, my home, and reached home, and told whatever happened. And they were all glad that I was in one piece and unscathed, without any kind of problem. Then I had, as usual, my breakfast, lunch, etc., but made sure that I will not get out of the home until 7 o'clock in the evening. And of course, 7 o'clock means, the day is almost done. Now night started, so nobody will notice me. Anyway, I did not go to any place. But in the afternoon, what happened was, around 4 o'clock, two gentlemen came to my house. They were asking for the way to my house, on their way to my house, to the people they met, about a person who was in a bus accident, involved in a bus accident, but lives somewhere along that particular street. And that accident happened in the previous night or early morning, 4 o'clock or maybe 3:30, I don't know. I don't exactly remember. Then Finally, I discovered that these two guys were in my home. They were guided to my home, and one was late Jagadi N.K. Acharya, the father of Jagadi Srikumar, and another gentleman who accompanied Jagadi N.K. Acharya. I don't remember his name now. Anyway, what they wanted to know was whether Thrissur P. Radhakrishnan, a colleague of them or theirs, working in the Thrissur station of All India Radio, was a passenger in the ill-fated Kannur Deluxe Express. I told them that, I boarded the bus only in Ernakulam. I was a passenger who was not having any kind of reservation, and therefore I do not know whether Thrissur P. Radhakrishnan was in the bus and also was a co-passenger. So they thanked me for the information I gave, and they went off. Well, the next day I went to the director's office, and I reported to the director her duty on joining the duty in that office. I wrote a note stating that I am on transfer, so and so, etc., and I may be allowed to join duty. And of course, as usual, the director did not look at my face at all. He just only took the piece of paper I wrote, and on the left margin, not toward the bottom, he said, he initialed and said, allowed. And I kept the paper aside, and he did not even ask me to, how was the trip, etc. Nothing. No good words or no. He's a man of that sort. Okay. Then I went over to the office where the technical staff was seated. There was Ayyappan Nair, who was the geologist in charge. Ayyappan Nair recently was promoted from assistant geologist post to the geologist post, and he was only on probation those days. And I met Ayyappan Nair. Ayyappan Nair offered a seat and told me that I will give you allocate a seat. And Ayyappan Nair was sitting in a cubicle created by two screens and an almirah. And then I got a seat outside of that with the other crowd of driller mechanic, technical assistant, so on and so forth, a thin section maker, and so on. So then I just, after locating my seat, I just walked over to the administrative section and told good morning to everybody. Everyone greeted me in unison and said, welcome to Trivandrum. We know how you manage this transfer, etc., etc. And that was how I reached the Trivandrum office. And through this nightmarish road accident in which 3 people died. One man who died was the retired IPS official Vishwanath Pillai, who was then the chief security officer to the KSRTC, and 2 more people died. Okay, what happened then? The next day, the newspaper, not the day following the accident, the day after, the next day, there was a small insertion of the news about the accident of the Deluxe Express in Karwata, and so and so people died, etc. Okay, that's it. That is the way it is.